Welcome back. In this video, I will discuss what is principal component analysis and what is the algorithm of a principal component analysis. In the previous video, I have already discussed how can we apply principal component analysis on the given dataset and how to identify the principal components so that we can reduce the dimensionality of the given data. Link for that video is given in the description below. Now the question is, what is principal component analysis? Whenever a dataset is given to us, before we build a model, what we need to do is we need to identify the relevant features and we need to remove the redundant and irrelevant features here. That is nothing but the dimensionality reduction. Principal component analysis is one technique where we can reduce the dimensionality of the given dataset based on the given data. Now coming back to the algorithm of principal component analysis, the first step of principal component analysis is to define the dataset. In this case, we consider n number of features or the variables denoted by x1, x2 till xn, where n I have selected as a small case here. That is nothing but n number of features are there and the capital N number of examples are there. Each of those particular example is represented as xi1, xi2 and xin that can be represented in the matrix format something like this. In this case, you can see here, these are the features. This is the first feature, second feature, ith feature, and this is the nth feature here. This is the example 1, example 2 and example n here. So this is the dataset given to us. Given this particular dataset, how can we apply the principal component analysis algorithm? That is what we need to understand here. The second step of PCA algorithm is to compute the means of each variable. As said earlier, there are n number of features or the variables are there. We need to find the mean of these particular variables or the features. That is xi bar, that is mean of ith variable, is equivalent to 1 divided by n, because n number of examples are there and we need to add all these particular things. That is nothing but xi1 plus xi2 till xin in this case, where I is the ith feature in this case. Now once you calculate the mean of each of these particular variables, the next step is to calculate the covariance matrix. Now this is the data set available with us, and if you want to calculate the covariance matrix, you can use this particular formula. Covariance of xij is equivalent to 1 divided by n minus 1 summation of k is equivalent to 1 till the number of examples xik minus xi bar xjk minus xj bar over here. Now let us say that I will consider this one as something like this one, x1 and then x2 here. The meaning of this one is I want to calculate the covariance matrix with respect to these two features here. Now how can we calculate this one is 1 divided by n minus 1. So n is the total number of examples minus 1. That is what we can easily do it. K is equivalent to 1 to n. So in the first case, k is equivalent to 1 here and the value of I is equivalent to 1, j is equivalent to 2 here. So x1, 1, that is nothing but this one, minus the mean of this particular variable, that is the x1 here. So that is what we will get in the first case. Xj is equivalent to 2, k is equivalent to 1 here, that is nothing but 2, 1, that is nothing but this, and the mean of this particular thing. So that is what the first summation term. Second time k will become 2 here. Again I and j will be common. I is 1, j is equivalent to 2, 1, 2 here, that is x1, 2 is nothing but this one, minus mean x, you can say that 2, and then k is equivalent to 2, x2, 2, that is nothing but this one. The meaning of this one is this minus mean multiplied by this minus mean plus this minus mean minus this particular term minus mean. Similarly, x1n minus mean multiplied by x2n minus mean for this particular covariance value here. That can be represented mathematically something like this or in the matrix format. Now once you calculate all these particular covariance values, this will be represented with S in this particular case. So this is the data given to us. Given a data, with the help of this particular covariance equation, we will get the covariance matrix here. That is in the third step. Now coming back to the fourth step, we need to identify or we need to calculate the eigenvalues as well as the eigenvectors from that particular covariance matrix. Now how to do that particular thing? If you want to calculate the eigenvalues, we need to set up this particular equation, that is nothing but determinant of S, that is the covariance matrix, minus lambda I, where I is the identity matrix, which is equivalent to 0. Now lambda values we need to calculate, because there are n number of features are there, we will get n number of lambda values, that is nothing but lambda 1, lambda 2 till what is that called as a lambda n over here. So this is the number of values we will get, that is nothing but the roots of that particular equation, you can say. Now once you calculate the lambda value, for each possible lambda value, we can say that lambda is equivalent to lambda 1, lambda 2 or something like that. We need to calculate the eigenvector here. Now, how to calculate the eigenvector? This is how the eigenvector will look like. If you want to calculate the eigenvector, you can use this particular equation, S minus lambda, the calculated value. In the first case, it will be lambda 1, second case, it will be lambda 2 and so on. I is the identity matrix multiplied by U. U is nothing but a eigenvector over here, which is equivalent to 0. Now, once you solve this particular equation, you will get eigenvector for each of those particular eigenvalue here. For lambda 1, you will get the first eigenvector. For lambda 2, you will get the second eigenvector. For lambda n, you will get the nth eigenvector here. That is nothing but for each of the eigenvalue, you will get one eigenvector that looks something like this here. Now, once you get this particular eigenvalues and eigenvector, next what we need to do is we need to normalize those particular eigenvectors here. Let us assume that there is a vector x which is represented something like this, x1, x2 till xn. If you want to know what is the normalized eigenvector of this particular thing, we need to find the length of this particular eigenvector, and then we need to divide this particular eigenvector here. So now, how to calculate the length of this particular eigenvector? The length of this particular eigenvector is always equal to square root of x1 square plus x2 square till xn square over here. Now, once you calculate this part, I think x divided by the length is nothing but the normalized vector over here. Similarly, I want to calculate the n normalized eigenvectors because we have already calculated n eigenvectors. For each of those particular things, I want to calculate the normalized eigenvectors. They will be denoted as e1, e2 till en here. In general, ith normalized eigenvector is always equivalent to ith eigenvector divided by length of that particular ith eigenvector. The same thing will be repeated for all possible values of I here. That is nothing but we will get n number of normalized eigenvectors over here. Now, once you calculate this particular normalized eigenvectors, in the fifth step, we will try to derive the new data set over here. Now, how can we do that particular thing? We need to order the eigenvalues from highest to lowest. That is what the first thing we need to do. So, we need to arrange these particular eigenvalues in the descending order. That is nothing but lambda 1 is greater than or equivalent to lambda 2, greater than equivalent to lambda 3, dash 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 greater than equivalent to lambda n. We need to arrange these particular eigenvalues in this particular order. Similarly, the normalized eigenvectors are also organized in the, we can say that the highest to lowest here. Now, once you do this part of things, as said earlier, there are n number of features are there. We want to reduce the dimensionality of this particular data set. So, what we do is we will select one number p in the range of 1 to n here, which should be greater than equivalent to 1 and less than equivalent to n. If p is equivalent to 1, the meaning is I want to select one feature. If p is equivalent to n, I want to select all features. If p is equivalent to anything in this particular range, I want to select less than whatever the number of features are there. Let us assume that we have 10 number of features. I want to select 5 features. What is the value of p here? The value of p will become 5 in that particular case. The meaning is I want to select 5 features out of 10 features or 5 principal components out of you can say the 10 features over here. Once you set the value of this particular p, we need to select the top p number of eigenvalues as well as the normalized eigenvectors over here. So, that is what actually we need to do, and they will be represented in this particular matrix, that is F here. This is the T is nothing but the transpose of this particular, you can say that the eigen vectors over here, that is the normalized eigenvectors over here. So, how many eigenvectors we have selected here? 1 to p here, not 1 to n in this case. So, totally we have n number of eigenvectors. We have selected only p number of normalized eigenvectors over here. Once you select the required number of principal components, that is nothing but the required number of normalized eigenvectors, we need to multiply that particular normalized eigenvectors to the given data. That is nothing but x over here. The given data actually contains x11, x12 and so on. What we do over here is before we do this particular multiplication, we will subtract the means from each of those particular values here. That is nothing but x11 minus x1 bar, x11 12 minus x1 bar, x1n minus x1 bar here. That is, this is the first feature. From this particular first feature, we will subtract the mean of that particular feature. Second feature, we will subtract the mean of second feature and so on. So, once you do this particular thing, we will multiply this particular, you can say that then selected normalized eigenvector matrix to this particular x, so that you will be getting the new, can say that the data set over here. So, previously we have n number of features. Now, we will be getting only p number of features over here because we have selected only p normalized eigenvectors in this particular case. So this is how we can apply the principal component analysis algorithm, or you can say that the PCA algorithm on the given data set, so that you can reduce the number of dimensions from n to p. Over here, n is the number of features or the variables given, and p is the number of principal components selected based on the requirement in this case. I hope the concept of PCA algorithm or the principal component analysis algorithm is clear. If you like the video, do like and share with your friends. Press the subscribe button for more videos. Press the bell icon for regular updates. Thank you for watching.